Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
One of the perks of daylight savings time is I do like the more sunshine.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that it's spring, we're actually quite a ways from the time change itself.
Well, I know.
Have you adjusted yet?
Yeah, it's taken a few weeks, but yes. I just say I like the more sunshine. I'm a more sunshine kind of person than a less sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
I would not do well in Seattle.
No, I wouldn't either. Although I have lots of friends there that love it. Do you ever lie?
If I said no, would that be a lie?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you feel
I
like
used
you
to.
did it more as a kid?
I think I did it more as a kid. I did it a lot in. It depend as I got older, less so. In the first marriage, I did a lot more than I do now. I find that since the divorce and was married to a chronic liar, I tell the truth pretty much consistent. I mean, like all the time. That I'm even really bad at, if you ask me what I got you for Christmas or what you're getting me for your birthday, I'll probably even tell you that too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think everybody's lying about something.
Well, true. I mean,
I think it's in our culture, right? I mean, like we even have movies, right? Like Liar, Liar, Pretty Little Liars, True Lies.
True.
I mean, it's just it's just a part of human nature that to some extent we lie.
Well, I mean, how many jobs are out there dependent on liars? I mean, if you're a politician, you're a liar. If you're a lawyer, you're considered a liar. Though we've met some lawyers that are far from it.
Well, you said considered, right?
Yes. So, no. Okay. So, where are you going with this?
So I'm just, I think that as we, we're in April now, and so we're approaching the end of a school year, and we tend to work with teens.
Yes.
And for you and I, it's very late teens, right? Like these are people who are either adults now or considered to be
17,
adults
18.
shortly.
Yeah.
They're going out on their own in about 2 months. And, I still think that there's a lot of lying going on.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing anybody in particular, right? It's
no.
just, there's teens tend to lie. And I think that they lie more to their parents than they do to anybody.
Yeah. I know I lied. Growing up, I did lie to my parents. What are you doing? Nothing. Where are you going? Out. With who? Friends. I mean, those kinds of things.
I also think that it's easier to lie now than maybe sometimes it was when we were kids, because there's so much going on that phone, and you can hide it very easily, right?
Yeah, not like the old days where you could pick up an extension and eavesdrop on.
I mean, I grew up in a small town. If I lied about something, my mother knew it within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You'd lie about where you were. Oh, what are you talking about? Like, so-and-so told me that you were down at the place, right? And it's like, oh, I can't get away with anything. My kids, we moved New Hampshire to Florida, but we lived in a small community.
Okay.
And I mean, my kids couldn't get away with anything because everybody knew where they were, and what they were doing all the time. So if they lied to me about something they were doing, it was like, oh, so although my youngest got away with it a little bit more, and she starts telling me recently of some of the things that she did when we lived there. And I was like, I just didn't need to know that. So I mean, not at this point, right? I mean, it's been 10 years. So, but I mean, I had those same things, right? Like I had things that I hid that I lied about. And, I think there's different motivations for lying. There's different, kind of common lies that we can see. And, I wonder if there's a way that we can spot some of these lies as parents and maybe, head them off at the pass kind of thing.
Well, okay. Maybe
if even all of them matter.
Well, okay. I think something to consider, and this is something that I have looked at a lot more recently, is not so much the what you did, but the why you did.
Motivation.
So why, if you're a teenager, all right, if you're any person really, but
Mhm.
what is it? Why are you lying?
Sure.
So, because I can say that the number one reason why I would lie would be for shame. I am afraid. I don't want to disappoint you.
Sure.
So what I did, I know would make you disappointed, and I don't want you disappointed in me because I'm disappointed in myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for me to avoid your disappointment in me by lying to you.
Right. And yet, whatever you're lying about can come to own you over that.
Depending on what it is and how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because I know that, again, growing up, my parents were not afraid to use corporal punishment. And I think I don't begrudge them for it.
Sure.
Because they did it sparingly, and they did it in a way that, like, a lot of times they would go, okay, you go to your room and you think about what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or you go to your room and you wait till your father comes home. And so these were dreadful things. Well, then when they would come to talk to you, a lot of times, okay, we're going to talk about what you did and why you did it. And okay, well, here's your punishment. And, you can take, a lot of times it would be just, a few swats on the butt, sometimes with a ruler, sometimes with a bare hand. But, it was never hard, and it was never done in anger. And so I look at it and I go, okay. But many of the times my punishment was always worse because I lied.
Mm.
And so, but again, it was that fear of disappointing them.
Yeah.
Fear of the consequences. But anyway, the biggest one I would argue is that I didn't want to disappoint you. So I didn't tell you.
And I think that's probably the number one thing, right? Like, no matter what the actual lie is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's some common ones, right? There's some common lies that we can see in teens, especially.
Okay.
In
like what?
So, like your grades, right? School performance. I mean, I used to rush home back when they used to mail,
your grade
the
cards,
report cards, right?
Yeah.
They would mail the report cards from the school, which was just a half sheet of paper with my schedule and the grades.
Uh-huh.
And I would rush home and I would grab that sucker out of the mail so fast, right? And try to head it off as long as I can. But I mean, you can't hide it forever. Eventually,
True.
my parents were like, "Where's the report card? Like, we know it's supposed to be coming."
Uh-huh.
And this was before email, right? Like,
right.
oh, is it, Johnny's kid got a report card. What's happening?
Uh-huh.
Where'd yours go?
Uh-huh.
And then they call the school and they get the grades over the phone. And so, I mean, you're just putting it off, right? So, but school performance is one of those things. You just don't do well, and so you're trying to hide it because your parents have an expectation. And honestly, my parents' expectation wasn't super high. I didn't have to get A's or anything. So
yeah.
But
as you say that, I think the number one parent email that I deal with, and you probably do too, but is parents saying, well, my child said that the reason why their grade is bad is because you didn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times I'm going, well, okay.
That's just a different kind of lie about the same thing. Right?
Well, yes. In which case, then it's kind of, well, I hear what you're saying. Let me share with you a different story.
Yeah.
And so
that's the Genesis kind of lie, right? That's the well, God, you gave me the woman. The woman is the one who did it, right? I mean, that's just age old, right? Blame somebody else. Because the snake eventually immediately said, well, it wasn't me.
Right.
It was,
I didn't.
So,
yeah.
It's just kind of passing the buck.
Mm-hmm.
I think social lives, right? Friendships, relationships, peer pressure, parties, right? Like I would sneak out to go to stuff.
Oh yeah, we had of course, living up in Kansas, we had basements and we had a fireplace, and so in the basement, and as part of my dad put a window because we had a bedroom in the basement, and he put a window in the window well so that way you could escape. So that way you would not, if the worst case scenario, if there was a fire down in the basement from the fireplace, well, you could escape.
Yeah.
Well, I would sneak in and out of that window well. I'd get home by curfew, and then an hour later, I'd sneak out and sneak back in before 5:30, 6 o'clock when my dad would get up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I think there's also social media, right? Online stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of things that shouldn't be. I mean, there's been some recent laws that have blocked things like pornography.
Yeah.
But it doesn't block it all.
No, and the kids find a workaround.
So they find ways around it.
Uh-huh.
And then you have, maybe relationships or focusing too much on an influencer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, right, we call them influencers for a reason.
Because they truly do influence.
It really does influence you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, the wrong kinds of things on social media. They're probably going to lie about that.
Well, and I know.
I think adults do that.
Oh, absolutely they do. And I mean, as a kid, you're always going to experiment with smoking, with alcohol. And I know around here, vaping has become a big deal to the point that the state of Texas passed a law that said if you're vaping in school, automatic 30 days in the alternative school.
Yeah. And I think those are things, right? So you have substance abuse and that's a big one, right? For teens and for adults, right? Trying to get around that. You got mental health struggles.
Yeah, more so. It feels like more over the last 10, 15 years than I remember ever before.
Which is interesting because mental health issues seem to be more acceptable today than they were back then.
Well, that's true because maybe the reasons why
you can talk about it and you're not going to be ostracized.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, it was just like you were a head case.
Well, yeah, you and I, when we were in school, I will say that I used to drink because I felt that I didn't like who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt that if I drank alcohol at a party, well, then I would fit in better.
Sure.
Well, okay,
and I think the substance abuse stuff still relates to that.
Oh, I think absolutely it does.
And I think some of that is people trying to hide depression, which is always interesting to me that we think that alcohol, which is a depressant, is going to help us with our depression.
Yes. No, and I could see that. I know that when I was working for my practicum at a intensive outpatient facility working with kids 14 to 17, many of them were there for cutting issues and boys and girls, suicidal ideations, not serious. I mean, but they would cut themselves.
I totally struggle to understand that.
I totally agree with you. But it was, they were feeling depressed. They were hurt. Mm-hmm. They were feeling pain. Now, the pain came from a wide variety, but they would hide what they were doing. And I go back to, well, then why were you hiding it? Why were you lying about it? Well, that fear of disappointment, that fear or worry of consequences, because they knew what they were doing was wrong. And so therefore they wanted to avoid then whatever the consequences were. But what I found interesting is that once they were found out and they were coming to group, well, now they were actually getting better.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when we hide through the lie, we prolong maybe our agony. Yeah. And I say that more of a question than a statement, because what do you think of that?
I think that oftentimes the lie, whatever it is, like I mentioned before, owns you. Mm-hmm. You're stuck in it. The only way to get out of the lie is to tell the truth. And if you could have told the truth, you would have done it to begin with. Mm-hmm. So telling the truth for some reason you feel like is going to cause you pain, so you lie, and then you lie again to cover up the lie.
Yes.
And eventually the lie owns you to some extent, right? And that can lead to depression and other things. It's a negativity. It's easier to be truthful.
Oh,
than it is to lie.
I think that my experience with Eric's mother who was a chronic liar.
Mhm.
I mean, she would lie about things that you didn't need to lie about.
Yeah.
And
My sister did that. She would lie about anything.
Yeah. And it
Why
got
is
to
why is the chair over there? She would lie about her. Oh, I didn't do it.
uh-huh.
Well,
And it's kind of like
nobody cares.
Yeah. And it wore me out to the point that's why to this day I will tell you, you just ask. I am an open book, and I will tell you whatever you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a thing up in my classroom that says, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. And
Exactly. Right? It doesn't own you.
no.
Right.
And
You can own the truth. It doesn't have to own you. Whereas lies own you, right? You can't own the lie.
yeah. And,
It's interesting.
I see the kids here at school, and I've seen it everywhere I've been, that they will, I'll see very intelligent girls act stupid. And I will call, and I'll say to them, why are you acting? Well, because I feel like if I show my true self, people won't like me.
Mm-hmm.
And well,
that's a common thing for teens, right?
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we want acceptance, and I think even adults want that.
Oh, yeah,
It's one of the reasons they lie about things like romantic relationships right? Or sexuality, right?
Uh-huh.
You want to be accepted in whatever group it is that you're in, or that you're seeking to get in. And when the fact is, if you have to work to get into the group, they're probably not your friends to begin with. So,
but when you're
a teenager, that's difficult.
Well, because cool is, one, it's fleeting. Two, it's always over there. And even the cool kids will argue, well, I'm not a cool kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that we're always struggling to try and find who we are. And that's, been reading up a lot and studying more on attachment theory. And, because attachment theory ties into how well, it's kind of, I don't want to go into a lot of it, but it's basically how we are raised and how when we have a strong, healthy attachment to our parents, and our parents give us the room to be free and grow and experiment, then that helps us out a lot. But even in whether you have a healthy or unhealthy, being a teenager, going through adolescence, as you try and figure out, okay, well, who am I and where is my place in this world? Right. It's way more question and far fewer answers. And I think that you're trying to identify who you are and where you fit, well, then I could see where it would be very easy to lie.
Well, I think that, there's a lot of reasons for people to lie. And, obviously I don't think any of them are good reasons. But they are reasons nonetheless, right? They're reasons that people do it. And we talked about the fear of disappointment, right? That's a huge one, especially for teens with parents or a spouse with their spouse, right? Desire for independence, privacy, right?
Oh, yeah, true.
Like what I do on my phone is none of your business.
Yeah, which then begs the question, well, why do you have to hide it?
Exactly. Peer pressure, right? That we talked about, social acceptance.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that I think that's true for adults as well.
Uh-huh.
I think that, this one, avoiding conflict, I think is huge for a lot of people. Like if I just lie about it, they'll leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I don't have to deal with.
Well, yeah, because, one of the things that I used to do when I was married to Eric's mom, we never had money, mostly because she was blowing through it quicker than it could be made. And so I would kind of hide what I would spend money on. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, which
is a big no-no in marriage.
Well, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I would take, I did all the grocery shopping, and so I would get cash back at the grocery store.
Sure.
And I would pocket it. So then I would pay cash for
good job.
Whatever I was, it wasn't necessarily, it would just be something for entertainment or because I play Magic the Gathering. So maybe I'd buy some Magic cards or, I'd play poker once in a while with the guys. And so I'd have a little extra cash to play with. But
Sure.
I don't know. But you're right. A lot of it was to avoid conflict or having very unhappy, very unpleasant conversations.
Right.
So,
well, and then, we're all also teens might be trying to protect their parents, right, from worry.
yeah, I got it. I'm not.
I think I would do like when I was a kid. I was smoking when I was like 9, and I would hide that, right? Like you don't want to have them worrying about you smoking, or if you're getting into that vaping or doing the substance abuse, like you don't want them to worry about you. But at the same time, lying about it is keeping them from helping you, right? So getting out of that. So it's just the lies end up kind of again owning us to some extent.
Yeah, that's yes.
And it has the opposite effect generally of what we think it's going to. And obviously teens are not in a place to recognize.
No, that is correct.
They're trying to live the no fear life, right?
Yeah, the Joe Cool life.
I think the big thing then is for parents or for teachers or for whatever, right? The adults in a teen's life. How do you spot it?
Okay, so that's a good question.
When you do spot it, what do you do about it? How do you respond to it?
Yeah, I know how my parents responded. A lot of times the spotting wasn't hard because I'm not a very good liar.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you lie, first of all, if you're a very good liar, well, that's a whole nother set of concerns. But when you've got, I guess, the best way, my mom and dad would use good old-fashioned Catholic guilt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed in you.
Okay.
And a lot of times that I wanted to avoid disappointing them. So the fact that I failed in that, well, okay, I'll be more truthful next time.
And so, my parents used that too, right? My mother used that. My problem with that was as a teen, right? Is that my thing was, okay, but this isn't about you.
Yeah.
Right. It always came back to, well, you're disappointing me, or how does that make me look, or whatever. And it's like, but this isn't about you. This is about me.
Right.
And so I would struggle with that. Right. And so as a parent, I tried to make sure that however I responded to those kinds of things wasn't in that way. I didn't want to make the issue about me. I wanted to find out what was going on with them.
Sure.
And so that's a little bit different take. Right. But recognizing you have to be engaged, and we've had podcasts about this, right? Like you have to be engaged with your kids enough so that you can recognize when there's a change. And what is that subtle sign? What is the thing, right? Are they going to bed earlier so they can hang out with their phone more? Are they, are they really tired in the morning suddenly? Is there, are they just constantly walking around with bloodshot eyes, or something? Some of the obvious signs. What are the subtle changes? What is happening?
Well,
right?
You talk about smoking. A lot of times when you're smoking cigarettes or pot, it permeates the clothes. So why are they
smell it? Why are they washing their clothes all the time?
Yes.
Interested in laundry when they never were before.
Exactly. So you're right. That could be some telltale signs. I will say that I have to give Sherry a lot of credit that because we became friends and started dating when her kids were in high school. And so watching her deal with the kids, and a lot of times she and I disagreed, but it turned out her way was actually a little bit better because she would choose when and how to respond to what they were doing. And as a result, that created a better relationship with her kids, to the point that she and her son they shared an Apple account, maybe something like that. Anyway, she was somehow getting included in all of his text messages.
Wow.
And so
that's
whenever he would be in a group chat, and this kid's a senior in high school, and she's getting all these texts, she's getting it. They don't know, his friends don't know that she's being included. And
interesting.
And he knew, but he didn't really care. And so, and of course, Sherry never responded to anything. And she said, I'm finding that I know more information than I really would like to know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that I'd want to be in that conversation.
But
right.
Her kids to this day share with her way more than I remember I ever did with my parents when I was. Now, once I got married and got a little bit older, into the late 20s, early 30s, then it was a lot different. And now that the kids, because Jess just turned 29 and Evan's 26, but that's changed quite a bit, and they're a lot more, but they've always been open with her as to which I say is a testimony to Sherry, that because they would hide things from their dad, but they would share with her. And so I applaud her wisdom, because had she done what I told her to do, well, then her kids would have treated her probably like I did my parents, and were, less than honest.
And I think that's, when you find out what it is that they're doing, how you respond to it, I think is important. And I don't necessarily think that everything needs response.
Yeah.
Right. I think that you can choose when and how you're going to deal with whatever the dishonesty is and to what level. Because some of it may be, why are you doing that? Why are you being dishonest? I don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's you, especially if they're like 18, right?
Like,
there might be some things where you can be like, that's on you. Or like, you're going to be an adult. You've got to do. So it just depends what it is. I mean, my kids were pretty honest with me, except for my, for a little bit there, and some of the things they did, I was just like, no, I mean, I'm glad you told me. Right. And I'm glad that you know that it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to keep doing it, but I'm glad that you know that it's wrong. And so, and they would curb those things, kind of naturally. I do think it's important to give those kids, to give kids some kind of privacy and to teach them how to be responsible with that privacy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you shouldn't have to tell everything to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And
looking to social media for validation,
that's troublesome.
I've been intrigued and impressed with some of the students that we've had that have shared that they're actually stepping away from.
Yeah.
But they are more of an exception than the norm. And so, but I agree with you. We as parents, we as adults can be really good at modeling what it is that we want.
There has to be a balance, right? Like you can't go into a parenting way where it's like you have to be on them all the time and you can't trust them at all.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can't just leave it with do whatever you want and there's no consequences, right? Like there has to be accountability and trust.
Yes.
And so you have to have both, because that's the way the world works.
Yeah.
That's the way any healthy relationship is going to work. If you're getting into a long-term relationship, I mean, you have to be able to do those things. And so lying can't be your basis.
Kind of like Ronald Reagan said, trust, but verify.
Sure.
But you're right. Relationships that include a healthy dose of lying is not a healthy relationship. And it's definitely not one that I would be in again. Because like I said, Eric's mom she had a hard time telling the truth.
And I think getting space, and we've had this before too, right? Getting space and time between the discovery of the deception and the addressing of it gives you time to think about how am I going to address this in a way that's going to be receptive. Because you can't just be like, hey, you did this thing. I mean, it's always fun to be the parent and to be, say the thing and get them to admit something to you and then be like, oh, I didn't know that. And, but thank you for telling me.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's where I applaud my parents in the way that they would respond to us of, I need time to think about this. And you need time to think about why what you did was wrong,
right,
before we have a conversation. And I think that is, I would totally say that is the way that I would handle, and that's how I do handle a lot of situations with kids in the classroom, or even issues at home.
I mean, I think whatever the result, right, it has to encourage honesty
Yes.
in the future.
Yes.
And that means that honesty can't come with a massive penalty, right?
No.
I mean, there's natural consequences to things that we do.
Yes.
And sometimes that's enough.
Yeah.
So, building that trust with the teen, and some people feel like that doesn't need to be, right? But they need to grow up and be well-adjusted adults. And that's going to require some trust from parents, right? And they're going to screw up. And they're going to lie, and they're going to do wrong things. And we have to figure out how do we respond to that in a way that helps them grow and doesn't just drive them more into additional lies.
Thank you.
So
Couldn't have said it better myself. I totally agree.
that's been the work of what I tried to do as a parent. I feel like I was pretty successful. My kids are still very close, and while they made a host of mistakes, they probably didn't make as many as I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
they've ended up being, well-adjusted adults. And I think that's the win.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
it's a matter of our relationship with them and how we engage
Yeah.
and address these issues like lying,
Yes.
and recognizing that we did it too.
Oh,
So it's not like it's some kind of unique thing that I can't believe that you would lie. I mean, every kid does it. So, and every adult is doing it at some point. So it's just a matter of figuring out how do we help them to do less of it.
yes.
Anyway,
Right.
I mean, that's all I've got. That's the truth of the matter is that's all I've got.
Well, then thank you for being honest. I will say that I have nothing else to add. So, good job. Well done.
Well, thank you. And, as we've got a weekend here coming up of Easter, I hope that everybody enjoys that time as well.
Exactly. Well, then until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.
Bye-bye.